of the problems I see with a lot of the educational products and resources that are available to new entrepreneurs is that they fail to take into account that the fact that there are essentially four different types of entrepreneurs, each one that requires different types of education. Um, the first one is obviously the most popular. This is what I'm going to call the technician. And in the technician, these are generally service providers. Generally, these businesses are roughly, 10 or fewer employees. You might see these as CPA firms, design firms. A lot of times they're, businesses engaged in the construction trades, those kind of things. This is where people come in with high technical skills, but not a lot of business acumen, and they need to understand the business side of operating a particular business when they hang out a shingle. Another type of entrepreneur is the inheritor. Now, an inheritor has been around a business. It's a family-owned business. They have probably worked in the business for many years. They've watched how it goes. And so they're basically going to be like the guardians. They're second generation. They come in, and their basically job is to do the same thing as the previous, owner of that particular business, the senior person in there. And these are things like, restaurants. I see this a lot with retail businesses, small boutique retail businesses. I also see this sometimes with legal firms, law firms, where, it's like, Mr. and, lawyer and son or something along that line. It seems that it seems to happen a lot in that law profession. Definitely second generation lawyers in those. Then what we have acquirers. Now, acquirers are generally what I like to think of as we talk about in some of the previous discussions about farmers and hunters. And acquirers are generally farmers, but they didn't have the skill set necessary to actually bring it from zero up to being an established business. That's what's required of a farmer, to find the business model that can actually work. And so acquirers are people who really don't want to take that risk on the startup to find that business model that be successful, and instead they acquire a successful business model. These could be, like franchises and stuff like that. Now, acquirers often will be what I'm going to call strategic buyers as opposed to cash flow buyers as well. So in other words, they're looking at acquiring a particular business because it has something that they want to put inside of their business. One of my first businesses was acquired by a publicly held company because of the structure that we had. And so it was a strategic acquisition, not for the cash flow that my business was actually producing, but the fact that it had a rather robust infrastructure that they were on an acquiring spree. They could actually dovetail all of those into the structure that I had developed. And then the last and final one, which is where a lot of people think they are, but in fact it truly is the most rare form, is the creator. And then a creator these are generally the tech startup guys. These are the super premium, what I'm going to call hunter people. They will never be able to probably run this business once it becomes large, but they're really tenacious about finding a business model. They're usually trying to find some new niche or something, generally like it's a tech-based product or something that's exploiting a niche. So whenever it comes to looking at any kind of educational assets for entrepreneurs, think about which one of those classes that you fall into, because not all the knowledge or information is right for each one of those entrepreneurial type. I hope this was beneficial for you, and please be sure to check out some of the other valuable assets that we have at SteveBizBlog.